Our regional and our international viewers, thank you kindly for choosing us here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. My dear friends, a very warm welcome to another edition of the program Conversations with Zelisa, where we continue to inform, educate, empower and answer those unanswered questions. So you sit back, relax, enjoy. I want you to get your pen, get your notebook, Real TV, so you can take notes and important numbers that will be helpful for you and your loved ones. Directing this morning and in Master Control, we've got Mr. Robert Batiste. On behalf of the team, we'd like to wish each and every one of you a beautiful, blessed, productive and great day today. Reminding you life is what you make of it. It's Monday. Happy Monday. I trust all is well, you know. It's Monday, the 10th of November, 2025. Let me gently remind you. It is a day and time we will never have the opportunity to ever have again in life. That's how precious today is. That's how important today is. So don't procrastinate. Don't waste your time. Do something productive and constructive with your day and your time. All right? And if you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you and yours. That's someone special. Don't take life for granted, because let me remind you, tomorrow is not promised. All right? And Robert, let's go to our quote for today, coming to us with the kind compliments of Fab India Expo. And our quote says, "This is your Monday morning reminder that you can handle whatever this week throws at you." You know, we got up, some of us got up today and Monday blues. Oh gosh, I have to go to work. Well, yes, let us enjoy this day. And let us be reminded that whatever come our way, whatever challenges, whatever storms we didn't anticipate, whatever comes, we will handle it. Yeah, we'll not allow it to get the better of us, but we'll take control of our lives. Thank you so much for that, Robert. Let's now go to the ad, Fab India Expo.
The Fab India Expo announces its after Diwali sale. As we approach closing, enjoy store-wide discounts on all your favorite items. Plus, don't miss the Meat Festival at Zyka Restaurant, featuring delicious Indian-style curries and grilled meats. Hurry, the Fab India Expo closes on November 9th. Fab India Expo, opposite Medford Gas Station in Chaguanas.
Ho, 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 ho! Merry Christmas!
It's the Mid-Center Mall Christmas Market from December 5th to the 28th. Experience the magic of the season with over 300 local and international merchants, multiple restaurants, and daily stage performances. Fun for the entire family with a bouncy castle for the kids and the perfect place for Christmas shopping. The Mid-Center Mall Christmas Market, where the spirit of Christmas comes alive.
Conversations with Zelisa right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. So all of our local, regional, international viewers, all those of you on the Caribbean Showtime television in Canada, and all those of you on the Tego app, remember to download. Take Real TV with you, real time, anytime, so you could, you know, be privileged enough to see the great programming that we've got. And I always say knowledge is power, because when you have knowledge of something, you make better decisions. When we make better decisions, we've got a better tomorrow and a better future. You know, it's putting things in place. This morning, I am in conversation with a true son of this soil. I'm speaking of no other than Mr. Kevin Adams. And Mr. Adams is a writer and director. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Zelisa. Thank you for having me on the show.
You're more than welcome. It's our privilege this morning to have you with us to talk about what you do as when we talk about a director and a writer. What exactly do you do?
Well, what I do is across the board. But when we talk about the writing, it's more of screenwriting. So I write for the big screen. And then, well, of course, I direct for the big screen as well. So that's pretty much sums it up. Yeah, it's a lot of hard work when it comes to the writing to find, you know, topics to write about, to keep it interesting for more than 60 minutes, you know, so.
Correct.
Yes.
How are you inspired? What inspires you? How do you get up one morning and say, well, I'm going to write about this, or I'm going to write about that? You know, how are you inspired? What motivates you?
I think, to be honest, I think people just
people.
Yeah, I'm very observant, and I could just sit here and watch you carry on your show, and next thing you know, in the back of my head, it's like, we could do a show on zelisa, and so that's pretty much all it takes is for me to just take a few minutes to observe and say But what happens is when you're observing all day long, then you start to pick and choose. Might be better to. I see Robert, he does run down the stairs and run up the stairs. Let me do some non-robot and he exercise it, so it's just a matter of pick and choosing, and then you write your first 8 pages, 10 pages, and you say, this is going good. But you might write a little bit about the next one too and say, I like it, but it's not there yet. And so one could take off faster than the other, but then the other, days later, you could see something that helped you enhance that one, and next thing you know, it take off with that one. So
it's really about being creative and having that imaginative mind, opening and thinking outside of the box.
Correct.
Not just limiting your imagination, but allowing it to take.
Yes, correct. Because sometimes what we even do is we try to, me at least, try to combine characters, right? So it's not just like, you might have an interesting life story, but it may be like, yeah, that's nice, but it's typical. But then I know 3 other persons, one might be a boxer, one might be this. And I say, what if I turn her into not just a TV host, but when she leaves here, she's a boxer, And that's how we kind of like enhance stories.
Nice,
yeah.
Great. Let's go down memory lane, Mr. Adams. Let's talk about you as a child, so that parents or guardians or grandparents are looking at the show, they are going to see and know, they should know rather, the strengths of their children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, in terms of seeing the potential and the gifts, the natural ability that their children may have. So let's talk about you, the little you growing up. How did it all start? How did you know, or how did your parents recognize? Talk to us a little bit about you as a child.
Okay, so I wouldn't say this thing started a little late, so no one recognized anything for quite some time, so it might be sitting dormant. I was a footballer back in the days.
Sports,
yes,
you were into sports, right?
Yes, so 100% sports. Wake up in the morning, it's football, evening it's football, night it's football, and I was supposed to, so at one point I was playing for Mount Hope Junior Sec because I went to, regular school, and they wanted to transfer us to QRC because they felt like, hey, we want to get these boys on our team to have a better team and things like that.
Yeah.
So, and some of the teachers were complaining because it was so much football, like, hey, you was really good in maths, now you're average, you was really good in English, now you're average, and so
the academics paid the price.
Yes, the academics was paying the price for a while.
But then you did what you loved to do and you were good at it.
Yes. So what happened is my parents was like, hey, your brother went to the States, come and hang out with him for a little bit. And so I actually moved to the States for a couple of years. Yes.
Okay, nice.
So when we moved to the States, I actually had to do a couple of years of high school there. And in my high school years, right, that's when everything kind of took the turn, right? Because every summer vacation, when we come back from summer vacation, the teachers would say, hey, write about how your summer vacation was.
Yeah.
And every time they read my story, they would be like, your grammar not so great, but it's the storytelling ability that we just can't stop reading what you have here, So they were really intrigued by that, but I didn't take that as nothing. I still want to play my sports,
Yeah. But the fact is, they were able to identify your writing skills and your imaginative mind. That's something I try to do whenever my daughter and I would do whatever we do outside of work and school and things like that, whether it's a day at the beach or a drive or whatever we do, or we go on a trip, I always ask her to write a little essay about it.
Yes.
Allowing, and I think from small, if we allow our children, it will help them to develop their words, the way they bring things across, open up that mind.
Yes.
Because writing is a big thing now in the SEA,
Right. I think if I had to go back, I think that is one of the one thing that I would change in my life, I would want to be writing and reading from coming out my mother's belly. Like if my parents could read to me while they're in the belly. Like that is the one thing I feel like I would change, because that to me is so vital, so important.
Very
and
important.
I mean, even at my level, how I started everything a little late, it's still developed.
May I say something to
Certainly.
you? I honestly don't think it was late. I think it was in God's timing. There's a time and place for everything, because I still hold you in high regard for where you have been to where you're at now when it comes to writing and direct. And that's it's not an easy job. People may think, well, that's a luxurious job. He could just think and write and make things. But it doesn't. And that's why in the beginning, I ask you to tell us what it takes. And it doesn't come easy. Perhaps you don't come up with an idea in a couple months, but when you do, it's a winner. And so it's nice that you would have had the experience here in Trinidad and Tobago, and you had the experience there in the United States of America. What brought you back to Trinidad?
That's really interesting. So I ended up going to, so based on the teacher's expertise in the grammar and stuff, I said, when I was looking for a college to attend to, I was going through the syllabus and still trying to figure it out. So when I was turning, this school actually had screenwriting, and I was like, well, wait now, maybe I could try a writing program and see what happens. And I went for, because I was saving my money, and I went for one semester. And the class was amazing. And I think, all these students used to turn around and look at me like when I'm, explaining to the teacher like about my story. It was about this little boy who his moms had to trust him to go and buy bread. And he had to go a distance, and within that distance it's like, drug dealers, bad boys, and he had to go, so she had to take a risk with him being young and not getting caught up in the street. So everyone was like, how did he come up with that? And it was just so intriguing. But from there I ended up, after college, say, hey, you know what? Time to take a trip back to Trinidad, because everyone is like, oh, you had to go for Carnival, you had to go for this, you had to go for that. So I came back for a Christmas. Christmas was nice. They said, nah, you have to come. If you like Christmas, you had to come back
for Carnival.
So I came back for Carnival, and oh my goodness, I came with 2 cameras and thing, and it was just the most wonderful experience. But to top off that wonderful experience, the day I was leaving, the newspaper had, the Trinidad and Tobago Film Company is looking for filmmakers to make a nice short about Trinidad and Tobago. So I was like, this can't be real. The timing was so, like you said. Yes. So I went back to New York. I already started to write a movie about Pan, which I was like, but it had too much bacchanal in the pan, And I felt like maybe you don't want to start off your project with like too much of the roughness, So I was like, what can I do positive about, And I was like, you always in a soca party, what else to do but try something on soca,
Really?
And that's how that
So we'll talk about soca when we return. This is a program, Conversations with Zelisa. I'm in conversation with a son of this soil, writer, director, Mr. Kevin Adams. Let's go to these important messages. When we return, we continue our conversation. Stay with us.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Welcome to The Power Play, the most exciting period in sport. Join us every Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. as we bring to you all things sport. We break down football, cricket, basketball, all the latest sports in the Caribbean and of course across the world. Right here on Real TV, your station for local sport. Real to the heart, local to the core.
Smith, have you ever wondered what a man is thinking? Have you ever wondered why a man does what he does? Well, join us on our new show called A Man's Perspective, right here on Real TV on Mondays 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., where we discuss just that. The points, the clues to get into a man's mind, right here on Real TV, bringing reality to you.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you, to all of our local, regional and international viewers. Thank you so much for choosing us. Today I'm in conversation with a true son of this soil, so much so that he lived abroad but he came back to his land. You know, I'm speaking of no other than Kevin Adams. He is a writer, director. Welcome back. So you came back to Trinidad. You came back to Trinidad and you felt soca, which is our thing.
Yes, yes,
You came back home.
yes.
Before we go into soca and where you went into that direction, what was it like coming back to Trinidad after living in the States, studying? You know, you spent some time there. You had a different interpretation of life and a different sort of culture and you know, different experiences. What was it like coming back to Trinidad, an island as opposed to the United States of America?
I think to me, the only difference I felt like, you know, Trinidad is smaller. I could get from east to west, north to south in the less amount of time. But I felt like it's not like that far off as far as like, you know, things you know, things you would see, things you could be aware of, you know.
Yeah.
So coming back to me, it was like, I mean, obviously it's great to be home, be amongst the extended family. My immediate family is away, but my extended family is here.
Nice.
So with that, you know, I think even crime wasn't really, it might have been no kind of, you know, and I was just happy to be here and venturing everywhere on my own. It was just like places that people say, you went there? Like, you know, because I wasn't paying attention to, I was just like so in love with the country. You know, I was going to the river swamp, you know, going to, you know, San Fernando on the boardwalk. I was going, you know, Bangladesh. It's just like, just going because I was like, where's this place? Where's this place? So from the nice Westmoreland, it's just going and looking at everything, the new beaches, like how they set up the boardwalk. I was just like
exploring Trinidad.
Yes, just amazed.
You
like,
know,
you can't tell me let's not go here because I want to go everywhere.
I like the fact that you've expressed that in such a beautiful way, of being open and loving Trinidad for what it is. This is your homeland, of course.
Yes.
Your motherland, right?
Yes.
The point is, there are people here in this country that find every excuse to badmouth Trinidad. You live in here.
Right.
But you came back, despite living in the States, but you saw the beauty of Trinidad.
Absolutely.
Because you choose to do that.
Absolutely.
You choose to be positive. You choose to explore. Despite the fact that you were in a foreign land with things that were easily accessible, things perhaps may have been cheaper. I'm just saying, you now came back to a place where at one point was alien to you, but then it became so familiar that you fitted in so well and you love being part of Trinidad and Tobago. And that is what I love about you, that you saw, and perhaps that's the creative mind in you, that's the gift that you've got, that you see things in a different way.
Right. The funny thing is, my original plan was, okay, so after we won the grant and there's like, come back and make the movie, my plan was to just, all right, let me make the movie, and then, you know, I want to stay that long time away from family, you know. And then I started to make the movie, and while I was making it, it's like more exploration came, and it's like, but wait now, if I stay, I could build my pan story a little bit more. If I stay, I could do kind of like, I forget the name of this song where, what's his name, sing it, where he had to come back in order to, from New York. Where's that song, boy? But this, Tasha sang it over the other day in a kind of way, but you know, he had to come back and explore, but it's a kind of love story, you know? So I was like, yo, what if I do a love story with somebody who leave Trinidad, went away, but they always had a love in Trinidad, you know? So I was like, you know what? I think let's spend like 6 months here, and then 6 months turn into 9 months, and 9 months turn into 2 years, and then 2 years turn into 8 years, and it's just been writing about Trinidad. Like,
brilliant.
It's just, yeah.
That's beautiful. Now, you got the grant. You were heading back to New York right after Carnival. You watched the newspaper. You saw this. You feeling, but this is like divine intervention, and you applied. More importantly, you got the grant. May I ask, what was the grant? What was the amount that you got at that time?
So at that time, so the grant was for 200,000.
Right.
They were giving it to 3 filmmakers, right? And yeah, they happened to choose me as one of the 3 filmmakers.
Brilliant.
I still remember the other 2, which is Ryan Lachman Singh and Michael Mulida. So all 3 of us, you know, we got friendly, you know, we spoke, and, you know, we were able to all make our films.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that one first
Okay.
project that brought you to this. But let's talk about that project.
Okay. So that project was, you know, it doesn't get, you know, it's funny, like you would think that film gets easier. It could, but sometimes it takes a lot. It takes a lot. So when I came back to Trinidad and started to work on the production, I don't really know people here in the industry.
Right. You're new.
Yes, I'm new here.
You're the new kid on the block.
Yeah. So what it is everyone here, you get this big grant, and it's like your email is flooded, your messages is flooded.
Everybody want to come on your film. Everybody want to be an actor.
So you had to sit with people and try to figure out, well, you know, who is who.
Yeah.
But as Trinis, I must say, we're such smooth talkers that it had people who never work on a film set was able to convince me that, hey, I've been doing this for a while. You know?
Trinity the bone.
So, you know, so with that, it was kind of like both good and bad at the same time.
You had good experiences and bad ones.
Yes, certainly,
Okay.
certainly. I did bring in, which I tend to do for some reason, always find the cinematographer back in the States. This one, the first one, rest in peace to him, he went to Brooklyn College with me, and he came down, he was like, hey, I'm going to help you with this.
Nice.
And we got through the first one, and it was magnificent, you know.
Excellent.
But on that side, everything was going smooth as far as the story, the camera, the acting, you know, that part was going good. The side that was not so smooth is, everything else, which is making sure your makeup artists show up on time, you know, hairdressers,
Commitment.
sound person,
Commitment.
Yeah.
Why do you think Trinidadians are, you know, it's sad, oh, it's a trainee, well, they're going to be late. Or why do you think people are not serious about time commitment? Because you've been in the States, you come back here and you see a different culture. It is a different culture.
Yes,
Very laid back, not too bothered.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come to work later, I'll make a white lie, and then it goes into, why do you think? Because I deal with that. And I can't understand for the life of me why people are not committed to being on time or committed to what they're doing.
That is a tough question.
Is it part of our culture?
I mean, I want to say that, but I also have to say it with a pinch of salt, because there's always in between, right, 1 and 2 Trinidadians who hour on time, if not early. I mean, one
Like
of the,
me,
Right.
I respect time. And maybe it's
Yes.
because I've been in media, so time matters. You have
Right.
to be
Yes.
on time. You have to,
Yes.
get things in order. You have to whatever. So I respect that. You understand?
and I also think it comes with maybe the level or the position you're in as well, right? So when you come in whether you're CEO, manager, supervisor, people look up to you. So with those things now, you tend to want to be on time as much as possible. And if you're not on time, you have to call in, there's certain protocols. I think once you, sometimes on a specific level where I could get a next job like this tomorrow, you're kind of like, chill, Also, if you feel like you're in a job where, hey, nobody taking my spot, that's another reason I think too that, you just like laid back. But people don't know. It just takes, I think like you say, it's culture, and then it just takes a little each day to kind of maybe fix that, and you can do so much more because some of these people too were looking for a little bit more outer life, and sometimes they don't realize it's just that little nudge or that little change that can help them make those changes in
You're
life.
correct. That little discipline
Yes.
that will set them apart.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And that is so important. So you got over the hurdles, you got over the challenges, you had the funds, so then you were able to take what was in your mind and allow it to blossom into reality, bring it to life. Yeah?
Yes. I want to go backwards a little bit.
Please, that's okay.
Because so I don't want people to feel like, because I think I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm all perfect. Of course, we have our...
we're never
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
we don't live in a
so-
bubble, and that's what I tell people. We are real.
So...
You have to be real.
Right, you have to be real. So I think, coming from the States, like you said, I was a bit more open-minded to me than the funders of the film, So what their plan was, they wanted all three of us to group our film together to make it look like a full-length film,
Yeah.
right? And in my mind, it's like, yeah, we could do that, but I've never seen that work ever,
Yeah.
So in the back of my mind, I felt like 200,000 is a lot of money, and I wanted to make the best of it,
Yeah.
right?
In those days,
In
it
those
was a
days,
lot of money.
correct, yes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make the best of it. So what I did was, I decided I'm going to try and figure out how to make a feature-length film. So I was writing. When I got the grant, I started to write more because I was like, I could turn this into a full-length film. But we're going to shoot as much as we can shoot, and then maybe go around Trinidad and see if we could find sponsors and this and that and the other. So, so lo and behold, the grantors, they found out that, hey, this guy doing this thing that we didn't tell him to do or want him to do. So it was real, bacchanal, they wanted to stop the funding. They wanted to, say, hey, you're doing things that we didn't ask you to do. And, I was like, well, why? What's the concern? As long as I could give you what you asked for, which is this 30-minute film, let me do what I'm supposed to do. But how they were giving out the grant money, it was in tranches.
Ah.
So the first tranche, we was able to just pay for food, pay for certain things, and set it up. And next thing you know, after that first tranche, we ran out of money, and we needed more to continue. So I had to go back to the grantors and say, hey, the first of the money done, Oh gosh, well boy, I never get cussed out so much in my life.
It's like, what is this?
Yes.
This is not very professional.
Yes, not at all.
This is
hold-
not what I came here for.
So I had to hold my head down and say, hey, well, this is really my fault, I caused it, so try and figure your way out of it. Then we ran into a second issue, which they was like, you know what, we'll give you some money out of our own pocket, but you'll pay us back because the tranche is set up in a way where we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, hold that thought.
Sure.
What I like, Mr. Adams, is the honesty is, I'm responsible. You took accountability.
Yeah.
Not many people will do that. They find every excuse. I find when you take accountability for things and you acknowledge a wrong, let it be, let me change my attitude, let me change whatever it is to make it right. Life is much easier.
Yeah. Yes.
We'll talk about that when we return. This is the program Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. In conversation with a true son of this soil, Mr. Kevin Andrews Adams, I'm renaming him now, and of course he is a writer, director. Let's go to these important messages. Stay with us.
Step into the colors and flavors of India at the India in Style Expo opposite the Center of Excellence Mokoya. Dive into our Indian Food Festival featuring a delicious variety. Plus explore vibrant Indian clothing, elegant outfits for the entire family, perfect for every occasion. Open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. opposite the Center of Excellence in Mokoya. Get ready, Shogunas! The Fab India Expo is back, starting on September 18th, right opposite the Medford gas station, Shogunas. Shop authentic Indian fashion, food, jewelry, home decor, and much more. Don't miss out on the Fab India Expo opposite Medford gas station, Shogunas, your one-stop cultural destination.
Hi, I'm Ian.
And I'm Deanne.
We are inviting you to join us for a brand new exciting show, Family Matters. Every Wednesday, right here on Real TV from 6 p.m.
We will be having live guests and we are inviting you, our viewers, to call in and interact with us because your opinion matters. You are a part of our family here at Real TV.
So don't forget to tune in every Wednesday right here on Real TV, where family matters.
See you soon.
In every moment of silence, there is His presence. In every act of kindness, there is His teaching. Sai Darshan, a devotional journey into the life and wisdom of Sri Satya Sai Baba. Discover stories of faith, lessons of compassion, and the light of divine inspiration, guiding us towards peace, service, and inner joy. We invite you to join us every Sunday at 5 p.m. for Sai Darshan, where hearts awaken and souls find their way home, right here on Real TV.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. Today I'm in conversation with a son of this soil, and I'm speaking of Kevin Adams. He is a writer and a director, a successful one at it. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You know, it's nice hearing your story because in the story, or your life rather, the experiences that you've had your ups, you've had your downs, but what is important is that you stayed grounded here in Trinidad. You didn't run a back away because you had the option, and you do have the option.
Yes.
You've stuck it out, but you've done exceptionally well in the sense that you love doing what you do.
Yes.
So you do ever work because you're happy doing what you do. You may have your challenges that you
Yes.
face, but the fact is you're in a place where you feel this is my territory, this is what I love doing, and you use it to your advantage, which is excellent. Let's talk about some of the other work that you did. The first one, of course, was No Soca, No Life. That was the first.
Yes.
First, would you still say that's the finest? As some people say, the first, you know, there's something about the first.
I think I you know, it's interesting you say that because I watched it recently, which someone, so what it is a lot of people sometimes ask me, hey, we go into Toko and set up a screen, you know, so they want to showcase the work in different places. So they always look for, depending on what time of year it is. So it maybe it's around carnival season, so they want to do a carnival series or something like that, you know. And they take it to Tobago, they just explore with it all over. And I think one of the ladies, she said, hey, can you come and speak at this one? I think they went to UTT or something, you know? And this is on the verge of completing Queen of Soca. So, you know, so I went and I watched it, and I was like, I felt like I didn't really like it, you know? For some reason, that was the first time ever I felt like, but I feel it's not that I didn't like it, but I saw where I came from and where this film is, and I was like, wow, that is, and it's like a 13-year journey, you know? So it was like, wow, you know? So it was just that moment. So I feel like it's not that I didn't like it, it's just that sitting in the editing and watching this one other one that has been so developed, so much more work, so much more fine-tuning, so much more everything. The first one was just like, that beautiful story is still there, you know?
Yeah.
But this one, the story has been enhanced like by 5, you know? So with that, I was like, I was able to see it and know. But the funny thing is, the audience at UTT, they were like, oh my goodness, this is a great film. So when I told them, hey, we just finished up the other one, they couldn't wait to see it because they're like, if you're saying it better than this, you know what?
Can't wait for what's next.
Yeah.
The best is always yet to come, as
Yes,
some of
I would
us will
say
say. Let's talk about some of the other work that you did over the years.
So basically, some of the other work to me wasn't really work that I knew was going to like define me so much. It was more work to make a profit, you know.
It's a business,
yeah,
of course.
To continue
you have to
life.
live, you have to survive, you have to pay your bills.
Yes,
you have to eat.
Yes. So 2 things I was doing. One, I wasn't really paying it too much attention because I was like, that's not me. So basically, I do a lot of corporate work. So, you know, video production type stuff.
Nice.
And what happened is, I did 1 and 2 for people. I didn't really like it so much because there was nothing creative about it. It was just, you know, set up your camera.
You felt you weren't using your greatest potential?
Yes. Okay. So I had a friend now, he was developing in the business. And with that, he started to call me to help him. So I was like, oh, so since I don't have too much to do, just assist you, which is set up the camera. I don't mind doing that, but I'm not going to go out looking for this type of work. It's just not in me. But then, you know, I saw how quickly he started to develop by doing it and by me assisting. And I said, but wait now, this thing's so simple. So I decided now I'm going to set up my own little corporate video company. And we started to shoot. And, you know, it was, so it's like a nice little separate side.
Excellent.
I don't want to call it hustle because it's a real
business.
business.
No, you're getting the best of 2 worlds. There's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing with thinking outside of the box and being innovative and to be able to bring in revenue.
Yes.
You know?
So, and then, well, one of the other things that I was doing, this is what I was mostly doing. So at the time, like Flow, Digicel, some of these companies had an on-demand platform, and it was not being used as much by locals, right? So what I did was I started to develop things. Like I would be like, hey, Trinidad, I have some of the most beautiful women. I would like pay some of them to go up on the beach and be like, so we'll do something called Models of the Caribbean. And, you know, have them talk about like what it's like living in Trinidad and, you know, put these little small half-an-hour projects together and then put them on demand. And when they're on demand, people are like, hey, what is this? And people would pay for it $19.95 and stuff like that. So at that time, I was like, I don't know how to really work. This is working out for me, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then around carnival season now, I would come up with my cameras and get a host, and the host would summarize like carnival, and then you would see bits and pieces. Same thing, throw it on demand, and same thing, you know? So people would just like eat those things up. And to me, I was like, okay, what else can I put on demand? What I could put on demand? Until, of course, you know, Netflix and those big chains came, and I was like, hey, $9.95 and you can see whatever you want. So my 1995 days was kind of over, you know. So yeah, so those are some of the...
It was good while it lasted.
Yes, it was good while it lasted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So No Soca No Life ended up being one of the most watched short film on those on-demand platforms.
Wow.
You know? Yeah.
You must feel really accomplished.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, it's so funny because growing up partly here and partly in the States, just like, I feel like sometimes I think like Trinidadians think, which is like, you have to go outside and do this magnificent thing to really feel it. I don't think that is really true, to be honest, but because we hear it so much, it kind of like you feel like maybe they're right. You know, so there's something in you saying, hey, I have to go back outside and do this magnificent work, and then should not be like, that's our boy, you know. So I feel like I'm just, you know, hitting, you know, different stages, and I'm probably on like about it level 2, you know.
That's nice. You're working on a project currently?
Sorry?
You're working on a project currently?
Yes. I'm always working on projects. The thing with projects are, so I should tell you this. So before Queen of Soca came up, well, in the middle of Queen of Soca, with all the trials and tribulation and finding money and this and that, I told myself, the next 2 projects that we do, it's going to be 50,000 TT or less, because Queen of Soca is like a 500,000 plus kind of project, right? So I said 50,000, that is it, good actors, 2 locations, love story, like in order to make your career like move a little faster, because you can't be waiting, you know, 4 or 5 years for money from this one, and then they give you, and then 2 more years before this one give you. It's just like not a sustainable model.
500,000 as compared to 50,000 is a big difference.
It is a huge difference.
In terms of how do you cut that to get the same quality?
Yes.
Or to get the standard that you did set for yourself, because you seem to be a critic. You seem to be a perfectionist based on what I've heard. So what do you do in terms of how do you manage it to keep that quality or that standard to that level that you expect?
So two things I always believed in, and it's because just like being in the studio here, no one is going to see any imperfections that is surrounding a studio, right? All we're going to see is what's on the camera.
Correct.
And what I've told myself is, okay, we need to make sure 2 things happen, which is you have a good cast, you know, you have a good camera or cameraman, and you have a good story. That is it for me. Like, I think what happens, so even when I watch old time movies, black and white and all these movies, sometimes as you watch it, you're like, oh God, going and watch a black and white movie, boy. But if that director or writer knew what they were doing from the first maybe 8 minutes or maybe even less, they captivate you that you don't even know, you forget you're watching a black and white movie.
Absolutely correct.
So it's the same way that I'm looking at these type of films. I just need to captivate you in the first few seconds for you to forget, like, wait now, that camera real shaky, or wait now, because you already invested into the story.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea, and it's absolutely correct. It's what you bring to the table that matters. And so it's worked for you. You've allowed it to work for you over the years.
Yes.
You were able to say, despite whatever, I'm going to make this work. And you've made it. You've done that flawlessly.
Yes.
This is the program, Conversations with Zelisa, in conversation with a son of this soil, Kevin Andrews. He's a writer, he's a director, and he's talking to us about his stories, talking to us about his life, his success, the ups, the downs, the challenges, but never allowing anything to get the better of him. And he's been able to survive. This is a program, Conversations with Zelisa. Let's go to these important messages. When we return, we continue our conversation. Stay with us.
Hello, I am Astrid Morillo, Mrs. Congeniality, a bilingual Venezuelan living in Trinidad. I invite you to join me for an exciting new program, La Voz Latina, where we will highlight the achievements, challenges, businesses, and culture of the Latin community in Trinidad and Tobago, including the food, music, talents, immigration experiences, and more. Join me every Saturday and Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. for conversations that celebrate our voices, our stories, and our community. Coming soon to Real TV.
Planning a concert, conference, wedding, or cultural celebration? Let Real TV broadcast your event to the world. From live streaming and on-air coverage to global reach across TV and online platforms, we make sure your big moments are seen and heard everywhere. We offer professional production, worldwide exposure, and an unforgettable impact. Don't just host your event. Let us share it with the world. Contact Real TV today, where your story becomes everyone's experience.
Call us today at 2926470 or WhatsApp us at 3847142. You can also send an email to realtv.corporate@gmail.com.
I am Avinash Singh, former Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. I will be hosting the next Harvest, a forward-looking agricultural TV series exploring innovation, resilience, and opportunity across the Caribbean farming landscape. Join me right here on Real TV every Wednesday at 9 a.m. with repeats. See you soon.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you, to all of our local, regional and international viewers. Thank you so much for choosing us. In conversation with Mr. Kevin Adams. He is a writer, director, a son of the soil, and of course doing exceptionally well, sharing his story, his life story with us, motivating us, inspiring us to do the best that we can with whatever we've got, make it into something. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You know, I know that you do a lot of perhaps short films, maybe documentaries. You've done a little bit of this and that and explored, which is really good. Getting out of your comfort zone into something else. And I think that comes with the territory of having that imaginative mind and having to write and be creative and coming up with different concepts. Let's talk about Carnival. Carnival on our doorsteps, because in a couple months it's Carnival.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think it was launched last Friday. So it's, I think, 100 days for Carnival. So there are people that would forget Christmas and look at Carnival. And that's fine if that's what you choose, you know. We are Carnival people. It's in our blood, you know. Over the years, Carnival would have changed and developed by leaps and bounds. As I was saying to you during the break, last Carnival I sent my aunt in Australia some clips about the fats, the all-inclusive, and how women, you know, they get their eyelashes, their nails, their makeup done, their hair done. It's a different experience. It's an all-inclusive but different experience. I mean, you get champagne.
Yes.
You get in lobster, shrimp, and so Carnival is now gone to a different level. It would have evolved. But the fact is, even though it would have evolved, it is more or less the same concept. How do you capture that and not be repetitive with the core of what it is?
It's a tough question. I think it's just observing it. I think sometimes so even with like a cameraman or something, it's hard to sometimes articulate exactly what you're seeing or what you want. But for some reason, you have to figure out how to get into the flesh and bone of the thing. So with Carnival, I think you have so many choices. And I think those choices, it comes with like, you know, based on what you want to tell about, let's say you're doing something for foreigners. What is it you want foreigners to know about Carnival? As opposed to if you're doing something for other Caribbean islands, who knows already about Carnival? How do you tell this a different type of story for them to engage with it? So I think it's all those things kind of put together. It's like, first of all, who is your audience? And how do you plan to sell this or articulate this to them?
How do you market that?
Yes, yes.
How do you market that when the
Yes.
competition in Brazil,
Right.
you follow
Yes.
what
Yes.
sets the Trinidad, the tone, the Trinidad and Tobago Carnival apart? As we were saying, it's the drive up for the bacon shark, it's
Yes.
having a roti, it's
Yes.
having doubles, it's having callaloo, and it's going across to Tobago and enjoying crab and dumplings.
And Buko Reef.
And the Buko Reef, those
Yes, yes,
experiences that you
yes.
really bring alive.
Yes. And the one other thing, which is a lot of foreign carnival, it's more of you going there to be a spectator. You actually kind of partake in the activities when you get there. And I think that's one of the great things about Trinidad Carnival is people actually come to partake and not to be a spectator, which is why I think we draw so much crowd. I think, to be honest, I think our crowd could double and quadruple if this island was a little bigger or if we had more places for people to stay and, we continue
Do
with
you
the marketing.
also think that we are not, as a country, marketing our carnival? We are not capitalizing on the essence of what we have in Trinidad to offer the foreign market. Is it that we ourselves are not making the right investments with regards to promoting and marketing carnival in a different way?
I like the fact that you use the word different way, because I think they've kind of been doing it how I would consider it is maybe the poor man way or the cheap man way.
Or the traditional
or
way.
the traditional way, which is to me word of mouth. Now I must say, so even with like Queen of Soca, right? We didn't have the budget to say, hey, let's speak out loud, let's put up all these things, let's do a red carpet, So our plan was to say, hey, can we do something where we just get the word out to everyone to get 1% to show up, and then that 1% leave the cinema saying, I had to tell somebody about this movie because it's so good.
Tell me about Queen of Soca.
Okay. But just to end with the carnival thing, I felt like that's where Trinidad and Carnival is, which is everyone go back and it give you that feeling of like, I go in there next year. So that person who went last year.
Oh, no, yeah, booking already, starting to save money. Starting to save money, making sure they put away that money to come to Trinidad to have that experience again. It was just so great that, hey, I want to be nowhere but in Trinidad for Carnival. That kind of leaving, wanting more, hoping, checking a calendar. One day gone. How much more to go? That kind of, and that is when you have an experience of a lifetime that would want you having more. So, like a magnet pulling you back.
Yes. So with that, like you said, if on top of that now, some of that money we made from prior carnival and we say, okay, let's just take 5% of that budget now and add to the marketing in different ways and different forms, then I think we could start to double and triple and quadruple the numbers that we're seeing in Trinidad.
Do you think the government should partner with people like you who are very creative, who could partner with the government to help create something so amazing that will help take our carnival to another level in terms of investing? Because it's not just about you. It's about the makeup artist. It's about the guy doing costumes. It's about a hairdresser. It's about the people that behind the scenes. It's creating, understand, it's creating an avenue for other people to jump in this mix and be able to create employment. Also explore many different options in creating, allowing their greatest potential or their talents to blossom. So it's a win-win, I think.
Yes, I agree. The good thing is like a lot of the filmmakers, well, the few that I know, they know how to enhance and tell a story. So, so besides myself, there's definitely a few people that you could approach that can give you something very interesting. There's also people like, what's interesting about people as well is that every now and then someone who know you right or something, they might come to you with an idea and it's be like, it's just raw, but at the same time, it have some everyday people with some very interesting stories and ideas to tell, you know? So I
Correct.
never, well, I just tell them, hey, tread light on like what you say and how you say it, because I might already have a story that's similar. So if I'm already doing a carnival story and you approach me, you can always go and say, hey, that is story, I tell them, you know, and that's sometimes what you don't want, right? So you have to tread lightly in terms of how you deal with people. But I still feel like all these things are national conversations where it's like, hey, the best 20 people write into so, and let's see what your ideas is to promote the island.
But it's not only about the carnival, but rather, why can't someone think outside of the box and think about the young boy who just left school and decided, I'm not going to sit down and wait, I'm going to make things happen.
Yeah.
So he decides to go and buy pineapple and make pineapple chow and sell. Why can't we capitalize on his story? Or the taxi driver who is working beyond, this is a second job to make money to send his children to school or lessons. I'm just saying, there's so many other interesting, important stories that we could capitalize on.
Yeah. To me, I'm seeing it, it's starting to happen. The only thing is because, well, with social media, everything is like you have to tell it in 30 seconds or a minute. You don't always get these things to translate. It translates to the, you know, sometimes 100,000 people watch it, but they're watching 25, 30 things in an hour. So it's kind of like they see it.
So we love doubles, I'm thinking. But do we think about the work that goes behind? They get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, they start, you know, shouldn't we not think about these stories and allow it to take birth? Or, you know, I'm just thinking about thinking outside of the box, but being innovative in your thinking and creating an avenue where people like you don't give up and go back to the States. Understand what I'm saying? People who are home waiting for a job can have an opportunity. I mean, there's so many avenues that you could be creative to allow other talents to take birth. I'm looking at the time. I wish I could continue. You're so charming and charismatic, full of knowledge, so smooth. I guess it comes with the territory of being a writer in your words. Your closing comments.
Closing comments. I mean, I would just like to say, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. I want to say good morning to my family, friends, everyone in the neighborhood. I just want to see Trinidad and Tobago get to a place where we just love seeing ourselves on the camera. We start to distribute some of these things that we're doing internationally. You know, stop thinking that, you know, everything is about, you know, events or, you know, filming these events or these little things. Start thinking about how can I put a series together? You know, how can I put a TV show together? How can I put a movie together? And again, try to figure out, you know, the best way, or not necessarily the easiest way, because nothing good really comes easy most of the time. Sometimes you get lucky. And just work on it. Just keep working and perfecting it as much as possible. I mean, I know a lot of people these days are more into the TikTok and you know, Instagram, and those things are also, you know, bringing an income. But whatever it is, just make sure it's something that you really want to do, not just doing it because you say, hey, I saw somebody making money from it, I'm going to do this too, you know? So just be about what you really want to be about.
Mr. Adams, I want to thank you. I'm really grateful that you took the time this morning to spend some time with us to share, you know, your life story, and I'm sure it will inspire and motivate. You know, knowledge is power. I wish you all the very success as you grow from strength to strength, and I feel there's so many other conversations we could have that would help the youth, especially the youth, to realize their greatest potential and not look at the negative but rather look at the positive, not close the door but rather open the door, to allow their greatest potential to take birth. God's choices, blessings, and I'm sure I'll see you again here on Conversations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. This is where we're going to wrap things up for today. I want to remind you it's Monday, and of course at 6 o'clock, A Man's Perspective, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. Great programming continues. Please be good law-abiding citizens, do what is right at all times. Here's reminding you that with God, all things are possible. I am Zelisa Budusing Rupani. Be safe, be happy. See you tomorrow.